Hello everybody! We're going to try something a little different in this video. Just a little quick background. I have been cooking, baking, since I was a really young kid. If I remember right, I was only about 6 the first time I made something. Of course, it didn't turn out too good, but you try what you do. Anyways, I figured it might be fun to add a little cooking segment to the channel and see how that does. I'm still going to be cooking whether or not the video does well, but I figured what the heck, might as well share some of my fun with it. What we are going to do with these videos is some standard baking. You're going to see some regular recipes, chocolate chip cookies, brownies, cakes, things like that. I'm also going to try some substitute stuff, which is where we take an existing recipe and we swap out some ingredients and see how that turns out. Today's is going to be a fun one, and be right back with the ingredients. And here we have our ingredients. Very simple. Now the recipe, to be fair, the original recipe I did find online. Let me see here. We found this on allrecipes.com. Obviously not a sponsor. I don't have that kind of budget. But just wanted to let you guys know, it's allrecipes.com. All I did was look it up. It is brownies with 5 M's. So if you want to look this up on your own, give it a shot, you can. We have... Okay. Lost a couple ingredients, but that's okay. We'll just wing it here. I'll tell you what they are instead of showing them. We have half a cup of white sugar. There's my sugar here. We have 2 tablespoons of butter. I like substituting margarine. I just like the flavor a little better. A lot of people, look at me and go, Philistine. We have 2 tablespoons of water. Obviously, that is a lot more than 2 tablespoons. I just wanted to give you an example. We have 1.5 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips, and this is where our substitution comes in. I didn't get any chocolate chips. The job I worked at, though, has lots of candy, chocolate, stuff like that. And what happened was we got these Hershey's bars. The problem is these got exposed to heat, so they melted in the packaging. And when that happens, as any of you know, if you ever try to eat chocolate that's been melted and then rehardened, it somewhat separates, and it just doesn't taste as good. It tastes different. It's not harmful for you. It just doesn't taste as good. It's like the cocoa separates from like the butter and all that stuff in it, and just. But when you melt that together, you can remix it, and in theory, it should be just as good. So what I did instead, the recipe calls for 1.5 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Now I'm just ballparking this, and I may be way off, but I do know that at least as far as liquids are concerned, 1.5 cups would be 12 ounces. So, since we're going to be melting the chocolate, it's kind of a liquid. And I did the math. 12 ounces, these bars are 1.45 ounces each. 12 ounces translates into roughly like 8.2 of these bars. So I rounded up to 9. Figure a little extra chocolate's never going to hurt anybody. You may have noticed these are the ones with the almonds, so that may affect the ratio a bit. It may not be quite as chocolatey, but we'll still give it a shot. But anyways, that's our chocolate. We're going to give that a shot. Also calls for 2 eggs, right there. I like using the large or the jumbo eggs. I try to steer clear of the small ones. They don't have as much substance to them, and they don't always work out as well. Now the ingredients I forgot to bring over. We also need a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I have that in my cupboard. Whoops. 2/3 of a cup of flour. Despite the ice cream canister, that's what this is. I don't have like fancy canisters for my stuff. Figure I might as well reuse the ice cream after I eat it, right? Or the canisters anyways. We also have 1 1/4, not 1 1/4, but 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. It's really important you don't put too much in that, because not only is baking soda really bitter, but I found out the hard way in the past that if you substitute like baking powder and baking soda, the thing you bake will turn out rock hard and super bitter. You're really not going to be able to eat it without, like, in that case it was biscuits. I had to put tons and tons of jelly on it to make them edible. But anyways, that's enough of my rambling. The very last ingredient is just a half a teaspoon of salt. That's it. So our ingredients again: half a cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of water, 1.5 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips, which I'm going to be substituting for our 9 Hershey's bars. It's going to be a little sweeter than the recipe calls for, but that's okay. 2 eggs, half a teaspoon of vanilla, 2/3 of a cup of flour, 1/4 teaspoon baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon salt. And those are our ingredients. Then we get to going. We're gonna move over to my stove over here, and you can follow along with me while I actually put the stuff together. Now, our next step, as you can see my stove's nothing fancy, just a little electric stove. I really wish I had a gas one. But our first step, we go over here, preheat the oven, 325. Get you here. Alright. In the saucepan, we combine the sugar, the butter, and the water, and then we cook it over medium heat until it starts boiling. We've added in the sugar, we've added in the butter, we've added in the water. You can see right there. A lot of people like using aluminum pans. I like the non-sticks. They're just easier to clean up afterwards. But we got here. I'm trying, it didn't get specifications in the recipe. It did say bring it to boiling, but I'm not going to put it on high because that would just char everything and probably ruin the pan to boot. So I've got it on 3 on my dial here, which is kind of a medium heat. And we're going to give this a shot, and hopefully. Okay, now that we got it bubbling real good, we're going to mix this up. We want to make sure the sugar doesn't caramelize, because that's going to make a bit of a mess when we try to make the brownies with caramelized sugar. So that's why I also stuck with the 3 on the setting instead of a higher one that would have made it boil faster. Now we're just mixing this all up to make sure the butter gets melted and stirred in. It's also important because this will help stop it from cooking quite so fast. It breaks up the bubbles. Alright, we are thoroughly mixed in butter, sugar, water. You'll have to take my word for it. Have to find a way to raise the camera so you guys can see what I'm doing here. But that's that. Next we move on to the next step. Now in the next step, we next step, we bring them to boiling. Next step, we remove from heat, stir in our chocolate. And then we mix that until it's melted. Well, right away I think I can say I might have gone a little overboard with the chocolate, but we're going to give this a shot here. Oh, it's already melting real nice. Alright. Now, I did turn the stove back on to low heat just in case this had started to cool off. You don't want to go above low, because if you do that, you're going to actually start cooking the chocolate instead of just warming it. But yeah, let's get this going here. It's actually melting really nice. Oh, we got an almond stuck in the spoon. Oh, yeah, look at that. Alright. Maybe next time I use a wooden spoon, it's a little sturdier. Alright. Let let that warm up for just a little bit longer, and then we'll add in the other ingredients. Oop. Sorry about that. Okay. Well, that's melted into a kind of a gooey mess there, and I don't know how good that looks on camera, but you know, I kind of cleaned off the spoon. It tastes good. Okay, so we're going to do half a teaspoon of vanilla next. So we got our little thing of vanilla extract here. You can see that. And we take a half a teaspoon, so just a little measuring spoon here. Little bit. There we go, half teaspoon. Don't worry, burner's off, so I'm not going to be cooking this at the moment. Oop, a little bit of the vanilla's getting stubborn there. Get out of there. There we go. Okay, after the vanilla, we add in 2 eggs. We're going to do this one at a time and then stir it, just to make sure it gets mixed in thoroughly. Boom, 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 boom. Now this is going to mix very smoothly at first because there's not a whole lot of liquid here. Chocolate didn't melt quite as smoothly as I would have liked, but that's okay. Part of the problem is you might see little lumps in this. Those are the almonds from the Hershey's bars. Do that there. Yep. Get one more. There we go. And mix in your second chicken fetus. Not really, but you know. Alrighty. Now, see, there we go. The 2 eggs, that's really starting to mix up now. Alrighty. Now, I do apologize, anybody that's vegetarian or vegan or anything like that. I got nothing against that, but I'm not, so I don't have any kind of alternatives at the moment. Well, I'll see about looking into that maybe in a future video. But we got that here. There we go. Oh, look at that. Look how smooth that is now. Really liquid. That's what we want. Now see, if you're doing brownies in the traditional way of doing walnuts, you would mix all the other ingredients in first, add the walnuts last. But, you know, can't really do that when the nuts come in the chocolate. So anyways, we got that all mixed in as the spoon slowly disappears into the chocolate. Alright, after that, in a separate bowl, we're going to mix our dry ingredients up. So we've switched locations yet again. Next up, we've got, let me get my recipe load back up. Here we go. Next up, we add in 2/3 of a cup of flour. That's 1, 2, and now you're seeing why I put the cloth on the table. Okay. Alright, and then we add in 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Just do this here. Use the little cardboard lid to level that off. You don't want to put any extra in there. It's just 1/4 teaspoon of it. Alright. And then we add in our salt, which is just 1/2 teaspoon. Now that would be the same spoon that I used the vanilla in, except the vanilla is still in there, and I don't want to get salt stuck, so we're just going to do 2/4 teaspoons. Should be about the same as long as I don't overfill it. There's 1/4. And there's 1/2. Alright. And then we take all that. We mix it up real good. Now most people, they're going to use a wire whisk, which is honestly the best way to do it. If you don't have a whisk handy, use a good old fork. My mom taught me that one. This works pretty good too. Not as good, but it works real good. Anyways, we're gonna do it the right way. We're gonna do the whisk. And that's all we need with the dry stuff. After the dry stuff, then we turn around and we add in the chocolate stuff, the mixture, which is over here. We add that in here like this. Bloop. Yeah, we had a little camera malfunction there. Sorry about that. But anyways, we've added the chocolate mixture to the flour mixture. We've whisked it up real good. It is just about done here. Now what I was saying before the camera cut off is there is the option of a stand mixer. If you have a stand mixer, that is the best way to go. That'll mix this up real thoroughly. Just make sure you do it in the same order I said, so it'll come out the same. But there we go. That's mixed in real good. Got a nice little bit of batter there. Look at that. Yeah, look good. Except for the lumps. Remember, that's almonds. We want those. All right. Next, we get our pan. Okay. Now, next up, we get our pan here. Now, this is a 9x9. It's a little bigger than it should be. You really should be using an 8x8. So all this means is the brownies are going to come out just a little bit thinner. They're not going to take quite as long to cook. Now this is a non-stick pan, but still to save the lining and to make sure, I use a little bit of cooking spray here. You don't have to use butter flavor, that's just what I picked out. But you can also use like vegetable oil if you have it, and just do a thin coat. Make sure you pour out all the excess. You don't want any extra oil in there. But this, for me, is the easiest way. We just make sure all the sides and the bottom are coated. Another reason for the cloth. And then we just pour our batter in. Like so. Alright. Okay, as you can see, it filled it pretty good. Nice, more or less even. Now the table's a little bit uneven, but that's okay. It's more or less even in the pan. And now that it's in the pan, it's all smooth and ready to go. We stick it in our oven. Well, it's in there. Now we've got, let's see, what do we got? Now that it's in the oven, we have about 25 minutes to kill, maybe 20. What do I do? And here we have our finished brownies. Obviously, as you can see, I already cut them with the knife. I have not tasted any of them. You'll see there's nothing missing. So, yeah. Thought I might have cooked it a little bit too long, but they look okay. So let's go ahead and give one of these a try here. We'll get a small piece. I'm not real good at cutting even. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Almonds are not as easy to chew as walnuts. First off. But, it's actually really good. I like them. I thought they were going to be like super sweet because of the added sugar, but not bad at all. The chocolate flavor's not super strong, but it's definitely there. And, yeah. Like I said, the almonds, a little harder to chew than walnuts, so if you got like tender teeth or some cavities or something, first off, you shouldn't be eating these anyways, but if you do, just be real careful. Don't want you to chip a tooth on one of the almonds, because that might happen if you bite down too hard. But overall, yeah, turned out good. I like them. Yep. So there we go, our Hershey's almond brownies. But I think that turned out well. I'm going to enjoy these for a couple days. Yeah, only a couple. They're not going to last long. But yeah, I like this. This was fun. Turned out good. Different kind of video than what I normally do, but I hope you guys liked it. I had a lot of fun actually, moving the camera around, doing the different footage and all that. But yeah, turned out good. So I'll see you guys next time. We're going to try a different recipe on something else. Maybe some muffins or, haven't decided yet. But we'll see you guys on the next video.